What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Colton, Lindsay here with the WGR Live. We're coming at this round two with my friend, my coach, my mentor, and America's favorite, Bob Loeffler, America's #1 favorite coach. Fearless agent, founder, leader, your favorite. Let me see if I can get him on here. Also, hey, just a side note, if you guys are copping on, if you're watching live, put an L. If you're watching replay, put a replay, put an R for replay. But I want to give you a note that till Friday, March 31st, you can click the link in the description and you can get $500 off on Colton. And you can get for $996, you get a discount. It's like a 1-year subscription, and then you get all the cell phone numbers, email addresses. So you're going to want to do that to do cold calling and be a real fearless agent. So Bob, you've made it. Come here.
Thanks for being here.
I can see you. Can you see me?
No, but that's okay.
I don't know why. You got the iPhone 7.
My phone.
You got the iPhone 7, don't you?
I got the 8. Oh, it's a nightmare. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. You should have went with the other one. I got the iPhone 12. And it's amazing.
That's right. I want the iPhone 30.
Yeah, I was meeting with Steve Jobs the other day, and he just gave me. It's a little the new version they're working on over at Apple.
The Grateful Dead man, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, which is crazy.
Jerry Garcia's dead. Who knew that health nut would die young?
Hey, you know who I can't believe is dead yet? Speaking of dead people.
Isn't dead yet, you mean?
Yeah, is not dead yet. Betty White, dude. She's been like, I swear, like 117 years of age.
Listen,
You
I'm
remember?
so old that Betty White's looking hot to me. I'm a
Put a yes if you think Betty White and Bob Loeffler should date because they're the same age.
Who was Betty White's husband?
I have no clue, Mr. White.
He was the host of the Password game show.
I've never even heard of the Password game show.
I know. You have to be old like me.
Hey, Lorena, so if you go to the description of this video, there's a link you can click on, and you can go to Kohl's Resource. They have a sale right now, so go to Kohl's. So, all right, so what we're talking about today, ladies and gentlemen, is how would you like to have a 33% income or increase in your income this spring market? Bob, is that possible for these guys to make 33% more money on their transactions over the next, ever, always?
That would be easy.
Easy?
Especially if you're doing no business now. But
yeah,
it depends on how much business you're doing now, but yeah.
So let's say you're doing same amount of business. How could we increase our revenue by 33%? Give ourselves a 33% raise.
Well, you could charge 1% more.
Oh,
you're charging now.
Interesting.
Like if you're not charging a percentage that isn't 11 but rhymes with heaven, let's say. That would be one way to do it. And here's the other thing about that. Let's say you get 4% on a side instead of 3%. That's about a 30% increase in your income. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. The good news, though, that was good news. The good news, the better news, I should say, is that there's about 50% of your 3% goes to expenses, but that additional 1% doesn't have any expenses attached to it. So it's as if you're earning 50% more. There's the tip of the day.
Oh, 50% more. I like it.
Yeah, I know you do.
Well, how do we get to where we get to actually see people sign the paperwork? So so there's a lot of competition, agents doing discount commission. You ever heard of discount brokerages before, Bob, in your career,
Yes.
by the way?
Yes, I have heard of that because they invented that crap in Arizona.
Okay, so they existed back in when you worked for Century 19?
That's right.
Okay, cool. So back when Bob was working for Century 19, they had discount brokerages. How many of you guys watching live or recorded have noticed more and more discount brokerages popping up, right? So how is it that a fearless agent can stand out differently and get the customers to hire them? What has to happen, Bob?
One thing is to know the truth. for example, there are not more and more discount brokerages popping up. The reality is, I used this on our coaching call the other day. Ebooks. Does everybody know what an ebook is?
Yeah, electronic book.
Who knows who's read a book? Okay, so they used to have these things called books. I think I got some around here somewhere. But, oh yeah, they're over there. You maybe can see them. But ebooks popularity peaked in the year 2013. So since 2013, which was 5 years ago, actual book sales has been going up and ebooks have been going down. Discount real estate agents, they're not dominating. So if you are or discount real estate companies, so if you charge a full commission, and by the way you do it, the way to not get 7% is to charge 6%. The way to not get 6% is by charging 5%. So as long as you say this is what I charge, and that's the way it is. So if you're the seller, you might say to me, and we'll role play this, Colton, say, well, I talked to 3 other agents and they all charge 5%. Say that to me, Colton.
You know, Bob, I talked to 3 other agents and they told me they would do it for 5%.
Well, let me tell you something that I think we both know. If you wanted to do business with those agents, I wouldn't be here tonight, would I?
That's right.
Do you have any other questions?
No,
okay,
no, I don't.
Here. So that's how you do it. It is what I charge. That's just the way it goes. And you know, I'm having lunch tomorrow with a guy. His name is Bob Rogers. And people encouraged me not to get into real estate when I was 27 years old. I was a high school dropout. I never went to college. And a lot of people thought I don't have what it takes to sell real estate. I proved them right for 5 years. But this guy, his name was Bob Rogers. He encouraged me to get into real estate. And he said, find out what the most expensive agents are in your town. And I said, oh, I know that. They charge 7%. He goes, well, then that's what you're going to charge. I said, well, you know, most people charge 6%. He goes, well, you're going to charge 7%. I said, well, you know, what about for friends? And he said the words that changed my life. He said, if you can't make money off your friends, you can't make money because your enemies won't come to you. And I never ever charged less than 7% the whole time I was in real estate. That was great advice. And I literally never lost listings to agents that were charging 5%. And if I did, you know, that's okay because you can't get them all anyway. So when I lose a listing because somebody else charges 5%, I not only don't get that listing, but I get all that time back that I would have spent working on the listing, and I spend that time prospecting to find somebody who'll pay me 7%. So I'm not losing any money.
You're making more money. So
That's right.
There's a few fearless agent students. Connor is on. Mike, how you doing?
We need
Larry,
to change
he's a new
channels.
fearless agent student.
Who?
Awesome, guys. Larry Spinner, right? He just signed up for fearless agent, right?
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, right. Awesome. So you know
this.
my favorite, Bob. My favorite is
These are secret. These little broadcasts.
Hey, Bob, ask me if I would do it at 5%.
Okay. Have you seen my mustache? Would you do it for 5%, Colton?
Hey, that's a great question. Hey, do you remember the expired list that we spoke about?
Yes.
You remember how they had 2 things in common? You know, one is they hired the wrong agent that allowed them to fail, and the others, they never should have done business together. You remember that? Right. They actually had a 3rd thing in common. Do you know what that was?
What?
Well, do you know how much those agents charge those sellers to sell their house?
No. How much?
They actually charge 0% because they didn't sell the house. Now, is it your goal to not sell your house, or is it your goal to sell your house to the one buyer willing to pay more for it than anyone else on the planet?
Notice my look of shame. No, Colton, that isn't. No.
Right. Okay.
Just
Any
where
other
do
questions?
I sign? Just where do I sign? Just get it over with.
Just right here. Just right here.
I'm begging. Okay, thank you. I'll just put the pen in. Hey,
You know,
let's take a question from the audience. Is there anybody out there that has a question? Can we do that?
all right,
Is
yes.
that
So
legal?
we're going to start asking, we're going to open it up. I forgot. Bob said before we started, get right into the questions, and I forgot because I got sidetracked. So we're going to start getting some questions now. Hey, thanks, Eli, for checking out the
I
replay
could
here.
do
So,
math. I've got one of these.
you know, my hardest part as a brand new agent that I didn't get was I actually had to ask people to do business with me, right? So let's talk about that for a second while we're waiting for some questions. We do an amazing presentation, but are they just going to sign the paperwork, or is there a skill set in actually inviting them to do business with you?
You know, the secret is to follow the path of the fearless agents, because it always ends with a listing agreement signed if it's a process that you can count on, but only if the seller is nice, sane, smart, and if they're not, you probably don't want to do business with them. They have to have a ton of equity to pay you with, or it's nicer when they do. And they have to be very serious about selling their house right now at fair market value. By the way, you're going to hear from my sidekick and super doggy, Sandy Lee McAllister, because I think there's a delivery van outside. So be quiet down there. Shh. We're on TV.
Amazon, huh?
We're on TV. You guys want to see Sandy Lee? Here, come here.
We love Sandy Lee. How many of you guys want to see Sandy Lee? Put a yes on the the thing there. Give some thumbs up for
the super doggy.
You know what? That dog, I can actually, this technology, Facebook is getting good. I can actually smell that dog from here through the phone.
Me too. Woo. Okay. Sandy Lee evidently soiled herself, so that's okay. We're going to put her down.
Dude, my wife told me the funniest joke the other day. You want to hear it?
I do.
So I came home from the office.
Bringing me a new joke is like bringing a bucket of sand to the beach.
Dude, it was so funny. So I come home from work and she's like, hey, Colton, do you want to get a dog? I just started laughing so hard. I was like, that's so funny.
Stop. My lips are killing me. Stop. We have children. Okay, if I want to poop on the carpet, I'll squeeze my daughter.
Yeah, exactly. So here's a question.
That's how it happens.
Michael, oh, great. So we got a couple questions that popped up. And now Sandy Lee McAllister.
Sandy, come here.
Prime example, ladies and gentlemen, why you don't have a dog, because they pee
when
on
you're
stuff.
Prospecting.
Yeah. What about having 14 cats? Is that better than a dog?
Oh, no. Hey, listen, you can't do hoarding without cats. Yeah.
Okay, so Michael Carter asked, how should we handle Utah's current market? Most sellers I talk to don't want to sell because they can't find a home to buy. What are your thoughts?
Well, then those aren't sellers, are they? Here's the secret to prospecting. Oh, please write this down, and you, for the love of God and all that is holy, quit barking. We're on TV. Oh my God. See, I've got problems here. Can you smell the problems I've got here?
I can smell them. I can hear them.
Here's how you know a seller. Okay. Now you don't know about this yet, Colton, but someday I was talking about this with my coaching students. Someday you're going to have a colonoscopy. You know what that is?
In another 20 years? Yeah, it's where they put some stuff in your bum.
Okay, so you're going to want to put it off because it's unpleasant. So selling your house.
I would imagine it doesn't sound pleasant.
They're going to use all manner of excuses to put it off. Like, we can't find one to buy. No, that's not true. But all sellers have one thing in common. They have a problem. And the problem is they have a health problem. They can't go up and down the stairs anymore like they used to. A money problem. They have a relationship problem, which leads to legal problems, which leads to a money problem, right? They have a space problem. They go,
which
oh my
leads
gosh,
to a health
we just
problem.
had twins. We're gonna have one of them's gonna have to sleep in the oven, and the other one's gonna have to sleep in the dishwasher. We don't have a place to put these kids, and you can't put them to sleep like this dog's gonna get later. You got to have them, and then they've got a time problem, a distance problem. I can't drive that far, so they've got to have a problem. If they don't have a problem, they don't need a realtor. It's as simple as that.
Yep. So make sure your sellers have a problem. If they don't have a problem, they're considered gamblers. And there are a lot of gamblers right now, right? Like there are. You think about moving. I would hate to move, right? My wife tries to trick me and put her house on the market, and then I find out because people start calling me about it. I'm like, what the hell, right? And then I realize I realized that Toys R Us, I can't believe they went out of business because I think I own most of their inventory in my basement from
That's
what my
right.
kids have.
They don't.
Right?
Yeah, that's why they went out of business. They could open up in your basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
And
a
then I found,
franchisee now.
Bob, I have a monthly call with my CPA with my profit and loss, and he says, hey, I guess you need to shut your Amazon account down. And I'm like, why? And he says, because they're putting you out of business. I realized that if they don't buy me, they take all my money, and I give it to them anyways. Freaking Amazon. Okay, so
Well, at least you're not bitter.
Nah.
So there's
I just still have my Prime account, and I get free streaming on there too. So Irvin says, Bob, what do failing agents have in common, and what do successful agents have in common? And Irvin Pena is a fearless agent,
That's
I
right.
might add.
Well,
Thanks.
Here's one thing. All failing agents watch too many YouTube videos. All failing agents are screwing around, not doing the one thing that makes them money. So the other day, so it says cheerful. Can you see me?
There he is. There he
Okay.
is.
So I put a little sign on my wall. I was trying to show it to you. It would be backwards, but it says cheerfully doing menial tasks with no thoughts of tomorrow. Everybody should write that down. Cheerfully doing menial tasks with no thoughts of tomorrow. That's the secret to success. These people, whenever you hear a coach talking about you got to have big goals, that is baloney. What you need to do is that little thing every day that's going to cause you to schedule 5 listing appointments a week. So if your goal is to do 40 transactions a year, I know you're not going to hit your goal. If your goal is to do 27 million in production, I know you're not going to hit your goal. If your goal is to do 5 listing appointments scheduled every week, I know you'll hit your goal because it's a thing you can do this week, and you just don't get off the phone until you do it. So it's like painting my house. If I hire you to paint my house, you don't quit painting until it's painted this week. So same with prospecting. You just don't get off the phone until 5 listing appointments have been scheduled, and that's just the way it's got to be. Then you'll
Hey, you guys hold on one second? Can you guys see Bob, or am I the only one that has him as frozen on my screen? Put yes in the comments. And here's a shout out. Abbas Mohammed said, if you haven't signed up for Fearless Agent and Bob Loeffler, you're missing out on the greatest coaching ever.
That was a shameless plug.
Shameless, and we didn't even have to pay him for it. So he actually is a fantastic Fearless Agent student. Larry said, is it? No, you don't. You're bald.
Okay. All right.
Larry said, so he said you're frozen in and out. So I don't know what that is about your phone. You got that iPhone 8. Larry said, is it wise to develop a follow-up campaign for FSBOs after the first call magic question?
No.
And you still say no?
No, because if you're a fearless agent, you would have booked it on the very first call because here's the great thing about being a fearless agent. You will never have to overcome objections because you won't get any. You always get your question answered. You're not asking stupid questions, and you always get your question answered, and you will always book the appointment on the very first call. If they are nice, sane, smart, have a ton of equity to pay you with, very serious about selling right now at fair market value. And if they are not all those things, you wouldn't be successful with them anyway, even if you followed up. So there is a follow-up. No successful big hitters in Fearless Agent are are calling old, stale, expireds or FSBOs. They only hit the new ones every day. And by the way, that's like a tiny part of your business anyway. Cold calling is where the real money's at.
Yeah, you know, the worst part of my life has been working with for sell by owners, I would say. If I had more stress.
I could tell them what the real worst part of your life is, but we don't want to go there. We don't want to go there. We don't have that kind of time.
We don't have all day.
Yeah, I gotta be home by Christmas. I can't start complaining about Colton's life. Okay.
You know, I was just looking of the money from real estate this year. 25% of transactions have come, which is very surprising. This year have come from first-time cold calls, setting appointments on the initial call. Mm-hmm. Usually, we're making most of the money like 3 or 6 months down the road from those conversations. But more and more people are saying yes on the first call for us. So that's kind of cool.
I will tell you, at least 100 times in my real estate career, I cold called somebody. I said, "Hi, this is Bob Loeffler. I'm just calling to see if you might be thinking of selling your house." And they said, "We literally were just talking about it when the phone rang."
Yeah.
So it's, timing is the key to comedy.
Yeah. I had a seller once that she said, I literally just prayed to my saint. I don't remember. She had a saint on her table there. I just prayed that someone would
Saint
call
Bernard.
me. It looked like a Saint Bernard had lived in her house, that's for sure. But she said, I just prayed to my saint that someone would call me and tell me how to sell my house so I can move back to Chicago before my brother passes away. I listed and sold her house, heaven percent, and I actually double-ended that one. So she was one of my favorite clients too. So cold calling works. Cold calling's where the money's at. Who else has got some questions here?
Yeah,
I missed
let's get some questions. Otherwise, we're just chit-chatting.
And
it doesn't even have to be a good question.
Yeah, you could ask a bad question right now, Stevie Hahn. I know you got some bad questions. Go ahead and ask one.
He's calling them out. Oh, nice.
Jose, I know you can ask some bad questions. Larry, come on, ask a really bad question here, guys. I'd love to hear one. I'm trying to scroll. So here's one. Justin, and I'm not quite sure how to say your last name, so I won't. He asked, how do we compete with a newer brokerage coming into cities with reduced commission listings?
Well, that's easy. Because, in other words, they're commission discounters. So you would compete with them the same way you would be competing with any agent. It is not that common that there is a successful brokerage that discounts as their model. Yeah. It is very common that agents will discount, and those agents are almost never successful either. Mm-hmm. So that's why you hear agents bragging about the millions in sales they do. They never brag about the number of transactions or their commissions earned, because so you just compete by being a fearless agent, following the formula. It always works, but that's never going to be a problem.
So we had a couple questions, and it's two questions that kind of roll into one. James Shelby asked, cold calling meaning circle prospecting, and then Christian Harlow said, isn't calling for sell by owners and expired cold calling? So what is what is actually, yeah, great. What is cold calling?
Cold calling means I have no idea that you may be thinking of selling your house, and I would have to call you even to find that out. That's my definition of cold calling.
Yeah, so
or the new calling, expired calling, cold calling, three different things, three different dialogues.
The new phrase, Bob, that these young kids are calling.
Let me write this down.
Yeah, they're calling it, get this, they're calling it circle prospecting. I don't know where this came from,
Here's where
to be honest with you. Where did it come from?
Circle.
From what?
Circle. That's a circle.
Oh, okay. All right. I can't see, so any visual aids, I don't get to participate in those, but everyone else does. So
I can't see either. This is great. This technology is fantastic.
Ever since that damn thing happened with Facebook where they started selling my data illegally, it just really messed me up.
Oh, that happened on day one. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe. I know. I would.
Hey, I hope they do sell my data.
Yeah.
I want them to make money.
So cold calling is really just getting Cole's Realty Resources, uploading the phone numbers into your Mojo dialer, and you are calling saying, hi, this is Colton Lindsay with Fearless Agent. I was just calling to see if you might be thinking of selling your house. No? Do you have any plans of moving ever? Okay, so that's it. That's a simple cold call. And you can go, I put a link where you can get some calls, but they're doing a special, Bob. So instead of $1,500, it's $1,000, $996 till the end of the month. So tell people to get calls. That's where the money's at.
All right.
But don't do that if you're not a Fearless Agent. Sign up for Fearless Agent first so you learn how to convert them, or you're wasting your money. FearlessAgent.com. How can they call you, Bob?
Another shameless plug. Hey, you can call me toll free day or night at 480-385-8810. And if you want to do a complimentary coaching call with me, you can call me anytime. I won't answer, but you can call me anytime. No, I'll answer. And be happy to help you in any way we can.
Also, guys, we're handing out some new bracelets that say hashtag WWBD. What would Bob do? And all you have to do is snap that and give Bob a call, and he'll tell you. Cool. Let's go to the next one. Bad question here from Irvin. Thank you for your terrible question. Thoughts on Zillow and how that will, what he says, and where our industry is headed. So I think what he means by that is supposedly
what was the
Zillow,
first thing? And by the way, the word is supposedly.
That was me.
Supposedly. Okay.
I actually did graduate high school. Thank you. So,
and college.
And on college somehow. Yeah. So it just goes to show you college doesn't make you smart. So he said, thoughts on Zillow and where our industry is headed. And Zillow is now working towards what they have said to make real estate agents the Uber drivers of real estate. So that was pretty much his question, is how will Zillow affect our industry?
You know, I saw the headline the other day. The headline said, self-driving cars will continue to have accidents. I also noticed that in an unrelated study, human driving cars will still continue to have accidents, so no need to worry. Zillow is a non-entity in the real estate business. It has no effect on you. You can quit worrying about it. And everybody was worried about some other thing before that and some other thing before that. But the reality is there's no way to get top dollar for your house if you don't use a real estate professional. So real estate professionals are not going out of business anytime soon. Neither are doctors, by the way.
I went to one today with my child.
There are things you can buy online, like pants or shoes or office supplies, but some of those just got delivered and made my dog bark. But,
ping pong balls. I buy ping pong balls.
Yes. Well, who doesn't want a pallet of ping pong balls?
Yeah, we need a lot of ping pong balls.
But figuring out a way to make the buyer grossly overpay for my house, it's a human that's going to do that. So you don't need to worry about that kind of thing anytime ever.
I can tell you how Zillow is going to affect the real estate industry. It's because I get a call from them every 30 days trying to sell me something.
Wait a minute.
They cold call. They call people so all they do is get you to put your name and information in as a premier agent and spend money on them. Interesting. That business is making
here's a
cold
little
calling.
tip for you. Realtors paying money to Zillow is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my whole life, and that covers a lot of ground.
Yeah.
That would be dumb, because last time I checked, open houses are legal.
Yeah. I would say, though, not all fearless agents don't ask stupid questions, because I've actually asked some pretty stupid questions before to sellers. So I've done some.
Remember, there are no stupid questions. They're just stupid people asking questions.
Like that's me.
Yeah.
So Jonathan Kirk, he said, a lot of people hate on the phones. I built my business from it. I feel as if it is the best kept secret for those who understand the psychology behind it. Do you feel like the years of taking expired listings are numbered from onset of front-facing tech, or do you think we will be able to cold call and be successful forever?
Is he talking about the same front-facing tech that we can't see each other on because the thing is screwed up? Is that the
I
front-facing
guess.
tech? Is it the same front-facing tech that makes the Uber self-driving car crash into people all the time? Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about. There's one technology that will never be replaced, and that is the cell phone. And nobody. You might notice that nobody really uses FaceTime because they realized, oh, I'm having a bad hair decade. I don't want people to see me. And, the phone is the way to go.
Yeah.
That's where the money's at. And that will always be true.
Yeah, I think that money will always be made from calling people as well. Or door knocking. You could door knock if you're not lazy.
You could door knock but nobody's ever been chased down the street by a pit bull while they were cold calling on the telephone. Little tip.
Daryl said, I think by cold calling, they mean circle prospecting neighborhoods. Maybe just listed or just sold listings. No, we don't mean just listed or just sold.
Nobody should ever say, I just sold a house or just listed a house. That's insane training that bad coaches give.
Yeah. If you want the real training, go to fearlessagent.com. That's where you go.
I think that was another shameless plug.
Another one. I would do one more if you want.
No, it's too much, really.
Look, there literally is a debate going on now. I was told circle prospecting is map radius from a sold home. Yep, some terrible coach put that out there.
Here's why. Let me explain why.
Why?
If I call you, Colton, and I said, hey, Colton, my name is Bob. I work for Fearless Agent Realty. And the reason I'm calling is I just sold your neighbor's house down the street. Probably one of the first questions you would ask me is, oh, really? How much did you sell it for, Bob? And I go, well, we sold it for $549,000. And you'd say, well, that doesn't sound like very much. You must be a crappy realtor. So I've got a 50% chance, at the best, of de-impressing you with the amount. Now I'm talking price, which violates every principle of sales. And by the way, you don't even want to sell your house. And I've elongated the conversation with a no. And time is the only resource I got. So if I call you and I said, hi, my name is Bob. I'm calling to see if you might be thinking of selling your house. And you say no. And I say, do you have any plans of selling ever? And you say, nope, they're going to carry me out of here feet first. You've heard those guys, right? Women never say that, by the way. I don't know what. So you're going to carry me. I will never sell. That will never happen. And I say, oh, by the way, I just sold the house down the street. Now you're not going to say, oh, well, in that case, I am moving, right? It's crazy. Right. So bad coaches give you bad words and you have bad results, like wasting your precious resource of time. So if you have the exact right words to say, you'll never have the problems that the bad coaches give you. So be careful.
You know what?
By the way, if you go to YouTube and Google Fearless Agent, go to our YouTube website. It's actually Bob Loeffler. And subscribe to that. Watch all the videos. Better training for free than you would ever get from any other coach paying any amount of money. I promise you that. If you ever have a question, call me at 480-385-8810. And we can prove we have better coaching. We make realtors rich every day. So, why not be one of them?
So, I was going to say, you know what? I forgot what I was going to say, actually. So I'll read the next
That's the
question.
first sign. That's the first sign. It's the second thing to go.
Yep. And I'm only 33. So Christian says, when do you put them into the people farm or the pals? Or not the pals, the prospects. So let's say
the minute somebody says, yes, I am a seller, that is happening. We are moving 100% for sure. In some reasonable period of time, not 5 years, but under 2 years, then you're going to make a decision right then when you are going to call them back. So you'd say, when should I check back with you? If you don't schedule the appointment, so you say, when should I check back with you? Whatever they say, cut it in half. and that's not magic, but it gives you a much better chance of, not seeing somebody else's sign in the yard by the time you do call them back. So every person in Mojo, in your database, has a unique date of when you're going to call them back. So there is no, in sales, there's never, these people get a 3-month call, these people get it every 4 months. That's crazy. Everybody has a unique date that you've decided that's when you should call them back. If they say, well, it doesn't matter, you can call me back whenever you want, then you're just going to have to make a judgment call, pick a date, and that's the day you're going to call them back. So
Yeah. And what's cool is you can do client appreciation events like roller skating, and then you get to call them anyways, and then they come and get pizza and roller skating and break a hip.
Did you know that I am a expert roller skater?
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
I would pay money to see that.
Well, you'd have to. Yeah, that doesn't come cheap. I played ice hockey. I skate like the wind.
So Lorena, I don't know how to say your last name, so forgive me. Moscoso. You can send me a message and tell me how to say that, so I don't embarrass me the next time.
Right. She's going to send you a message that spells her name, and then you still wouldn't know how to say it. But that's okay.
No, Bob, this new front-facing technology has voice memo.
Oh,
so you can voice
I have not heard of that. Okay.
Voice memo me. So what do you think about representing the seller and buyer in the same transaction? What advice do you have for those in that situation?
I'm not a fan of that. If I was your broker, I would teach you to avoid that at all costs, because I believe 5 out of 6 lawsuits in real estate are about dual agency. But here's the way it works. And your broker has a policy about this, so whatever I say doesn't matter. But if I don't like it, I don't like to be in a situation where I can't say the things I want to say to trick the buyer into grossly overpaying for my listing. And if I can avoid representing the buyer, I would do that. So if you came into my open house and you wanted to buy my open house, I would make you sign a piece of paper that says I don't represent you. By the way, this works in my state and some states and not every state, so every state's different. But you would have to sign a piece of paper saying you agree and understand that I do not represent you, I only represent the seller, and then I can do what I want to do. I'd still get paid the full commission either way. That wouldn't matter. The commission has nothing to do with representation. But there are situations where I've been showing houses, or another agent in my office represents the buyer on my listing, then that all bets are off at that point. Then I have to represent both. But not my favorite thing.
So Jose Gonzalez says, thank you, Bob. Those scripts have helped me so much. I would assume he's talking about the Fearless Agent scripts that you can get at fearlessagent.com by joining Fearless Agent Coaching.
I think he is.
Yeah.
And you're welcome, by the way. Happy.
Hey, so I have a question. And for those of you guys that are Fearless Agent and set more appointments because of it, give a bunch of reactions right now on the screen.
Like this.
Thank
Woo!
you.
Woo!
Woo!
Can they do that?
Use your
Can they
thumb.
do this?
I don't even know what you're doing.
Put your hands in the air as if you do not even care. Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
That's how.
So let me ask you this question, Bob, because we charge Heaven Percent, and you recommend we charge our friends Heaven Percent. What about our family members? Do we charge them more?
Yeah, because they're a bigger pain in the butt, so it'd be 8.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I always wondered if.
By the way, it's up to you what you charge. Okay, you can charge whatever you want. I can't tell you what to charge, but I will tell you this: if again, like my friend Bob Rogers, who I'm having coffee with tomorrow, said, if you can't make money off your friends and your family, you can't make money because your enemies won't come to you. So.
So, Jose said, what do you do about strange background beeping noises in your house while cold calling?
By the way,
strange. That's weird. That's weird. I'm just gonna say, Jose,
let me
that's
tell you a little
weird.
Story. There's a little backstory on that. Jose called me, and he's talking to me, and he's got the fire alarm chirping beep, about every. And I said, and he's got in a house that must have like no carpet. It's all tile. And I said, Jose, what is that noise in the background? He goes, oh, I've gotten used to it. I go, well, get a battery and fix that right away. That's annoying. So that's what he's talking about.
Funny guy.
But you
okay.
know, I'll tell you this. You want to cold call from a place that is comfortable, and you want the person on the other end of the line to hear you. I'm always amazed that I'll have a coaching call with a student and they're using a Bluetooth headset, which sounds horrible. So you should never call with a Bluetooth headset. You should always have some sort of wire that sounds good, and make sure you give the customer a good experience when they're on the phone with you. So
yeah.
And don't have your fire alarm chirping in the background.
Yeah, sometimes those fire alarms are tricky. I actually had to have a handyman come fix mine because I couldn't figure it out. And I even watched a YouTube channel. I watched a YouTube video, right? Because
that's YouTube that front-facing technology.
I couldn't fix it. Yeah,
right.
Couldn't do it.
You ever get a hotel room where the fire alarm was chirping? That drives me crazy.
You know, it's funny though. I did learn how to milk a goat from YouTube. So you can learn how to milk a goat. Yeah, on YouTube.
Wow.
You know, did you know you can milk anything with a nipple?
I don't want to know that. That didn't happen. Don't.
What movie is that from?
Let's just move on. Hey, doesn't somebody have a question? Oh my God.
If you're watching, what movie is that from? Oh,
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
Meet the Parents. It's from Meet the Parents.
Okay. Thank God.
All right, guys. Well, our time has come to an end here, Bob. So we're going to send these guys to, I'm going to give a number, 480-385-8810.
Wait a minute. That's my number.
Yep. And you're going to call Bob and ask him, Bob, how do I make a... See, they're already saying, Aldo said, meet the parents. He knew.
Meet the parents.
He knew.
Oh, boy.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So, David asked, I have nipples. Can you milk me?
I thought we were done.
That's a follow-up line.
Done. It's time to shut this thing down. Please.
Fearlessagent.com. Call Bob.
As they say in Utah, oh, my heck.
Oh, my heck. Oh, so before we go, Larry would like to hear the Harrison Ford joke. Can we please hear that joke, Bob?
Oh, wait a minute. No, I threw away my headlines of the day. Oh, wait a minute. Headline of the day. Where are my headlines of the day? Let's see. Okay, here's one. The head of the EPA, are you ready for this? The head of the EPA went to Italy and it cost $120,000. Has anybody in the government heard of Priceline, for God's sakes? Oh my God. Okay. That's
the, mm-hmm.
Where was my, okay, here we go. Harrison Ford, where's my headline? Oh, here we go. 76-year-old Harrison, this is out of the newspaper. It's right here on paper. 76-year-old Harrison Ford is set to star in the latest Indiana Jones movie. And I think the working title is The Raiders of the Lost Ark, searching for something I went into the kitchen for, and now for the life of me, I can't remember what it is. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. Shut this thing down, for goodness sakes. People now
bye, everybody.
With my goofy glasses. It's a disaster. This whole thing's a mess. We're never doing this again, are we?
Probably. We'll do it again. See you, gang. Till next time. All right, guys, go to fearlessagent.com, get signed up, save money. Thanks, Larry, for being here. Rodney, Jose. Also, I put a link in the description, and I'll actually post it right here as well. If you guys want to save money on leads or data, I should say, from Cole's Realty Resource, a $500 discount until Friday. But don't do that until you've already signed without joining Fearless Agent first. So fearlessagent.com. Thank you, Fearless Agent. Fearless Agent.